Well. I'm up to troll status. Yeah. I've had calls call me a troll before, so that's no painful thing to go through. Well. Mr. Reid, let's talk about 1099 work. And you're talking to somebody who did do 1099 work, and also who was the CEO of a company before it went. The reason the company went was just after the .com failure. This would be circa 2000, where most of people working on the internet lost their flipping jobs, which is why I ended up in that work. But I was coming out of the military at the time, and I went straight back into web development, which is where I was really happier. And I was writing code for sites. Framework code is really what it was. And it was used for e-commerce and everything else. And I worked and pioneered a lot of code that worked with the format which we used at the time, which was called Fusebox. I'm not saying I'm the only person. I mean, I'm sure there's other people who came up with their own variation of the code. Because it was a big, huge, giant community, which I was an active component of. Which should give you an idea if you knew my name, which you think you do. You can find that out, because I was a very active component until Fusebox. What version was that? I think 5 is where I told them where to go. When I knew they were so far off the beaten trail that I didn't want any more part of them. I just gave up. Basic code was okay, and then it became an ego trip for everybody. And at that point, I separated. But back to your deal, TR. 1099 code. Yes, 1099 does work. It is in lieu of full-blown employment. You do not get any health benefits. You don't get this and you don't get that. But your own, we'll call it salary with somebody, and you have to pay your own income tax. They don't. And you would also have to pay your own state tax or whatever else. And they don't. That's how that works. Now, for people who may not understand the computer world, and that might be a lot of people, let me give it to you this way. Imagine you were an independent truck driver, a lorry driver, if you're in the UK, and you're going to pick up loads and drop them off at places, right? As an independent driver, it's sort of hard to find work. Not impossible, but it's very hard. It's not like being in a company like ABC Trucking or something like that, right? Where, everybody's going to call you and say, hey, I need a new load moved. And they say, no problem, I'll get you on the list. I'll have you load picked up on blah and delivered by blah. Right? And it's going to cost you whatever. Now, independent's a little harder. They have to go find the work. They don't have people coming to them most of the time. They have to go out and look for the work. And then when they get it, they can do the work and get paid. And a lot of times they're hoping to get a decent payoff. Well, the way it works in the computer world is this way. For every 1 day of work, 1 day of hard work that you get to do for money, you're spending at least 2 days looking for it. And that's a fact. Now, let's take a serious look at this. Remember, I was the CEO of a company that went defunct after 7 years before I just gave up and closed the doors. My weight when I was working for a corporation at the time was 180 pounds. My weight dropped to stay alive for 2 years into it was 135. And if we take a very close look at Mr. Reid's weight, given that he's almost the same age as I am, maybe a little bit younger, I don't think Mr. Reid's eating all that well because he can't keep his weight up. I mean, seriously, I got a spirit talk here that just popped on me within a year. It happens when you get older. You just put on weight like crazy and there's no reason why. Anyhow, somebody says they're going to get it off of me, and I'm sure she will when Sam decides to do it. Now, Mr. Reid, if you're doing all so well in your corporation, or whatever it is, then I must ask you these questions. A, why is your weight so low? B, why are you wasting time trying to become a supposed expert, not really an expert, but a supposed expert on off-gridding if you've got so much work coming in? C, if Frontier, as you've named them, gives you, well, poor internet capability, don't you find this limiting your work performance? D, given that you're doing all this other stuff during the daytime where you claim internet speed is present, and you're doing other things in and around the property, then when are you really doing this work? Surely not at night, because you said there was virtually no internet at the time. So wouldn't it logically be assumed that you'd be doing it during the middle of the day, and instead of doing all this other stuff? E, regardless to what I or others may think, you do realize that the federal government, in order to do a Beyonce visa, with you being a sponsor, will do a complete IRA background check, which they will determine your possible income possibilities. I'm not saying it's going to halt or do anything, but it's going to be a problem, I think. And I've already tried to get you to go to work and do things. F, you and I have had a conversation over the phone where I told you I used to be a Coldfusion, Cobol, Fortran, assembly, Pascal, PHP, Postgres, MySQL, and MSSQL developer. And you never mentioned having all that much work coming in at the time. Pretty much, I got you, dude. If you really are doing all that well, you would not be wasting your time asking and pleading for money, which you had done. You would not be putting things together half-ass or piecemeal. You'd actually be using true bits and pieces and components. And, well, you just don't got it, dude. And since I did that work, I'm not buying. I was 1099 for a lot of years. I was, even though I was the CEO, well, of course I lost my 2 employees because I couldn't keep the work coming in. I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. You have to try better than that, TR. And you best pray for a miracle. Because I guarantee you, if the INS turns down your request for visa, man, I already know the reason. You're not a good sponsor. And I don't wish that on anybody. If you two really care for each other that much, then it's not funny, not to me. But I'm telling you, TR, I don't trust anybody from Oregon. I never have. So, it's your life, dude. I'm just trying to warn you. And as far as the rest, I'm not buying. See you later, TR. And I look forward to see how things turn out. And I'm not wishing you bad luck or ill fortune. I'm just telling you the way things are. Because I'm also in the midst of the same thing. And I got my worries because I was virtually unemployed for a while because I got laid off and there was just no work to be had. This entire state went shut down. It didn't hire anybody for nothing. So I got about a year I'm worried about that I can't account for work. Talk to you later, TR. Have a good day. Shalom.